And a very good morning, folks. Cup of coffee, and we've got a big correction that you will already have known about because I'd have done it right at the start of the trip. The red-shouldered hawk and the red-tailed hawk. I'll have only just found out about it, but you'll have known it from the start of the trip, of all the vlogs. So there was a raptor call-in where I am now, on the path, the park near where we are, all the houses where all the little birds are. Come out for my morning stroll and coffee anyway. Filmed this hawk coming in, so I got a bit of the call and was wondering and, you know, watching, seeing if it would appear again. I thought, okay, you know, red-tailed hawk, it's not a big deal. And then I looked at my Merlin app and it was bleeping up red-shouldered hawk. I went, oh, where? And I thought, wait a minute, where's the red-tailed hawk that was making the call? And thought nothing of it. And then a raptor landed in the tree just on my left. And okay, it's landed good. So quickly get the tripod up, three-way gear tripod head, bang, right on it. It's going to need I'm showing you it, but I've cleaned up the contrast a little bit because it's really misty today. And I was looking at it with the kind of quite orange chest, and I was like, that looks really familiar. I'm like, that's the same bird I saw in Monterey. That's great. And I'm like, oh no, did I get, you already know this, obviously, sorry. Did I get the red-shouldered hawk, which I've been wanting to add to my list for here? I mean, I got it for a couple of shots 2 years ago, so it's not a lifer, but I've been wanting to get some video or some photos of it. And I'd had it all this time. But there's two of these guys here, two of these red-shouldered hawks. But that was it, yeah. The footage I got was point blank of a red-shouldered, practically one of the first birds I got was beautiful footage and photos of a red-shouldered hawk. One that I wanted an improvement on since the last time I was here. It's funny, and a birder yesterday did say that a Cooper's hawk was chased into these bushes by some crows. So I'm keeping my eye out for it. But with all these, I mean, literally all the fields to the right of me, all the houses and scrub and trees are attracting we've got here bush tits, white crowned sparrows, Casey's kingbirds, song sparrow, Allen's hummingbird, northern house wren, house finch, house sparrow, orange crowned warbler, black phoebe and yellow rump warblers. All out for the insects, all out for the food that I assume people put out. I can see feeders on houses and things like that. But the boat trip yesterday, how did that go? I'm going to do a whole separate vlog for that. I'm going to talk about it here briefly for the birds, but I'll do a whole separate vlog on the whaling situation. Basically, it wasn't very good compared to Monterey. Now, I can't say that Monterey and Moss Landing is better than San Diego because this might be a different time of year. We went in the middle of the afternoon. I don't know, but for now, the whales were much better in Monterey, and we only got brief views of a minke whale. It didn't do any tail flukes or leaps out of the water, any breaches, things like that. So brief views of a minke. But for me, as a birder, I'm a happy bunny because I've got 3 lifers. And right, so first of all, the pink-footed shearwater. Merlin threw it up. I went, okay. Well, there was a couple of other shearwater. I knew it was a shearwater. It looked like a Corey's shearwater, which I'm familiar with. And out here, I assume, I don't know if the Corys get over here, but anyway, I noted it, ready to ask the specialist. There was a bird, one of the people piloting the boat was a bird specialist, knows these birds. And then something else I got, which, difficult because the angle, I mean, all the details is there, I'm guessing, all the stripes on the underside, and it's coming up as a Pomeranian jager. So I put that down as a tick for now. And then there was a smaller bird being chased by one of the western gulls, and I spotted it straight away. Obviously the captain as well. So we're both picking out very particular behaviour that nobody else on the boat is spotting because nobody's into birds. I clock it straight away because it's unusual. I'm looking, and it's chasing. And he said it's a black vented shearwater, and the jagers and the gulls know to chase these, and then they regurgitate the food. So I checked with the birder afterwards. He had trouble with the Pomeranian jager. He couldn't say for sure if it was. He was like, oh, it's hard to tell from this angle. But on Google Lens and Merlin, it is saying the Pomeranian jager. And I must admit, I'm not finding any images that are 100% corresponding with what I have. But he confirmed the pink-footed shearwater, and I got some nice ones of the black-vented shearwaters being chased. So I'm happy with those. So coming away with 3 lifers. I also saw some, what are they? The dark morphed fulmars. I confirmed they are fulmars because I got them on the Monterey Moss Landing trip, was unsure of it. And he said, yeah, even he said straight away, yeah, they're in the dark morph version. And I think nothing else out there. Yeah, I think that's finished up. But this is really misty. It's good because it's not too hot. We're going to go up to the estuary and look for the kingfishers again. There are a lot of little birds. I'm running the Merlin app to see if it bounces up anything. The only thing here that I wanted a photo of would have been a northern house wren. I think I have that in LA, but obviously I haven't got any pictures of them here. I'd like some upgrades. And I'm still after the goldfinch. So we're going to head up to the estuary now and just keep an eye for these hawks, which are, yeah, landing nicely in the trees, and give me some footage. Okay. Right, well, this was a surprise. It's about to change because a chap very nicely just asked me if he brings his dog in here, is it going to change anything? This is probably why this is a sought after field, because later on in the day, the people bring their dogs and that's it, over. The birds can't get in here. But I was just on the back of the camera now. I'm facing the other way because it's over here now. There's an American robin. Didn't expect to see that here. I saw 2 thrush-sized birds go into the tree and nothing else usually fits that profile. I've got some great footage on the left. It's very, very misty today, as you can see. So, I mean, I've cleaned the blacks up a little bit and it will look better than what I'm seeing. But yeah, oh no, it's still over there. It's with a load of, I think, house finches and yellow-rumped warblers. And I was just filming it over there. A Casey's kingbird. If it was more light, I would have caught it. They had a scuffle. The Casey's kingbird hovered above it, and the American robin didn't flinch. It kind of just looked up and kind of flapped its wings, and the Casey's kingbird just landed on this, wherever this plastic yellow thing is, and eventually gave up and disappeared. So the American robin obviously is a bit tougher. And then while I was sitting there, like I said, the Sage's Phoebe landed right, just literally 10 feet away from me on the plastic here, and it grabbed a couple of bugs while I was there. And I think, yeah, I managed to get a little bit of footage of that happening, the swallow, because yeah, it goes down really quick. It didn't sort of hammer it away like flicking it around. It just kind of swallowed it quickly. And it came over this side and grabbed something else. I think a house finch tried to grab it off it. You can see the house finch sitting behind the bird, looking a bit annoyed that it missed a big grub. But yeah, the American robin also got a grub. So I mean, yeah, this little corner, there's great stuff here. And yeah, I mean, it's good that there's no, I'm still liking there's no light. If I can get within about 20 feet of the bird, I can make it look pretty crisp when I get it back on the computer. But yeah, so those 2 birds I just saw that were thrush size must be the American robin. So they're here. I haven't seen any other sign of them at any other point. So of course they're going to be here. Yeah, the mist is refusing to clear. So I did come here and look about, and I saw a little patch of scrub, very, very thin island with some things running around. I knew were going to be the least sandpipers. I just thought I'd record them and just check on them just in case. And nothing, no big deal, but those ones, the white ones, look like sanderlings, slightly bigger, 2 of them in amongst them. Now my Merlin has picked up dunlin, said it's picked up some dunlin at some point. And I was looking amongst them, trying to see if I could identify. Sorry, a flock of birds are going over. What are they? Okay, they're probably just house finch. Yeah, I'll ignore those. From the way they're feeding, this little flock of birds just landed on the road behind the camera, the path for the podcasters. And I'm at the estuary. I'm on the path along the estuary. And it's not clearing up. I don't know what these people, there are some people out there, I don't know if they're cockle pickers or whatever they pick. I think I've heard a Chinese accent, so what they do here, what they do in Kent. But yeah, so the sanderling and least sandpipers, I just filmed for a little bit of something different. I could see a snowy egret on a fence, like literally letting people walk 10 feet away from it. And Merlin picked it up. I heard it because I was wondering what it was. It's the belted kingfisher. What was that? What's going on? Okay, right, we've got something scared those up. The 2 willets scared up, and I think the tricolored, the reddish egret. And those 2, the willets are just coming into land in front of me. So something over there scared them up. I don't know what it was. Because there are a few people walking dogs. I can just see them now, not on leashes. There are signs everywhere that says keep your dog on a leash. Totally ignored. There you go. But what I've got, if you're familiar with the Merlin app, what I'm doing now, because it starts filling up really quickly with all your usual suspects, I'm starting to clear it because when a bird sings, it lights up yellow if you're familiar with it. So you know that's the bird you're hearing. The problem is if it's filled up with all the other birds, it doesn't, the list doesn't move up and down to show you. You have to actually manually scroll. So it could, something could be singing and you could be holding the app but not seeing it because it's further down the list. So what I do now is if it was something important that I want to mention in the vlog, I'll screenshot it so I can overlay to the left or right of me and show you what I've been seeing in that spot. But now, if it's not, I'll clear it and start again. And I cleared this one and a bird was coming up. I wasn't even listening for anything different because I might have heard it. The first bird it pulled up was a swinhose white-eye, which I got here 2 years ago. And it doesn't look like, even I realized 2 years ago, it doesn't look like it belongs in LA. And I believe it is an introduced species from Asia. And they're doing really well. And it was going around in a flock. I'll let you listen to some of it. I recorded the audio. Yeah, I'm really happy with that. So yeah, Merlin really, that gives me, I mean, where am I at now? Gotta be careful, this phone is running out of power, so I'm trying to conserve the power. And I think we are at 124 and 37 lifers. 124, that's pretty good. At this point, we're going to beat my trip to Vietnam and Malaysia. That's crazy, to beat an Asian country, 2 big Asian countries. Yeah, LA, when I first came here well, I've only come here once before, 2 years ago, it astounded me for that. I never expected a city or the state to be like this. Oh, that's the belted kingfisher. Where's it going? Yeah, it makes a kind of raspy noise. What would that be? I'm trying to think of an English species that would do a raspy noise like that. It's just landed further ahead of me, maybe up 50 meters. So we're going to go and check it out, see if it's landed somewhere. It's not going to be great footage in this, but if I can fill the frame as much as possible, I can up the blacks and the contrast and make it nice and crisp. Well, these planes are incessant. I literally just waited to start recording until this plane went over, and it's not been 15 seconds and another one's coming. But my instincts were right to flick my head around and wonder what those birds were, the flock that flew in. I was going to literally walk past them. I wasn't even going to, and I thought, no, just check if what they are. Are they the house finch? Got my camera on them. Before I even got my camera on them, something looked slightly off. Here we go. Yes, a flock of horned lark. That is crazy. That's insane. It's like there must be 20 or 25 in there. And I didn't know what to do with myself. I was filming, I was trying to find a position, I was trying to get down low. I was going over the bank just behind me to get lower down for lower down video, and wondering if I was going to scare them off by doing that. But riders were going by, runners were going by. Within 6 feet, they're apologizing. Oh, sorry, am I disturbing your shot? I said, no, don't worry. The birds don't seem to care. But that's, yeah, correct. Because when I was at, Bolsa Chica, and I got them from a distance, and I was like, okay, they're going on the list as a seen species. And here, 2025, I remember, I think it was in 2021. I'll have to look that year up, that we had 6 or 7 in Sheppey, and we were going back for months, and this group was still together. And that was special because once everyone had their fill with them, you could go and just have some time and get some great pictures on your own. But this is, yeah, for them to land like that, they're really, really casual. There were a lot of juveniles that didn't have the yellow. So I was trying to concentrate on the adults with the really bright yellow plumage on the eye and the head. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I looked up from my camera, they'd gone. I don't know what I was doing, but I'd got enough footage by that point. I just kept filming and filming. I didn't know what to do. It's the kind of weather where it's just gonna be better to film rather than take pictures. There weren't any, yeah, this isn't picture taking. I mean, I suppose I could have done and messed around with the blacks. See, there's something running around over there, and I'm checking everything now because it's a lone bird, and what are you doing on your own? Right, I'll get back to you, but that was incredible. Just what a little moment. Yes, the sun is finally breaking through and it's getting hot very quickly. What a change. Yeah, it's already burning my back. Another little touch. Yeah, just the larks hadn't gone yet. I literally just heard them fly off again behind me, but that's why they caught my attention, because it does sound different to anything I've heard near where I was. on the path, and I just watched bikes go by 2 feet away. I did actually take a couple of shots. I'll have to clean those up a little bit because it was still a bit misty. I don't like to do that. I like to get what I get and just alter the levels very slightly. I don't like to get really misty grey shots and say, oh, look how beautiful this is when you've edited the heck out of it. I don't like those kind of shots, but in this instance, rare bird, rare to see these kind of things, so I'm going to get a picture of it and clean it up. But back to this, there were things jumping around in a bush on the side of the estuary, and got my camera on it. I thought it would be the yellow-rumped warblers, as per usual. No, the bush tits. So I got my fill of video. I videoed and filmed as much as I could. There were a lot of them were sort of, there was a branch or a reed or a bit of flower in the way. But yeah, this is the best I've had, obviously, since last, 3 days ago in LA. And I did, once I'd got a bit of video done, I flicked to the raw burst mode, pre-capture, see if I could get any taking off. And they just either wouldn't come out far enough to get a clear autofocus. And by the time I mucked around a bit more and the sun came out, they flew off to another bush. But happy with that. Everything that I've been after, the upgrades have been coming. I don't think there's anything that I'm upset yet that I missed now. I've got the red-shouldered hawk, the ringed kingfisher, the belted kingfisher. Ringed is what I saw in Costa Rica. But yeah, I've got loads of upgrades on everything, and I can't remember off the top of my head if I'm like, right, I want a better shot of this yet. I've got most of the stuff now. Really good upgrades so far. We're going to carry on. I think we're going to start heading back and get some bread and coffee. Right, well, I found the bush, which is going to give me all of my hummingbird action probably for the whole trip. I've just been filming and filming and filming. There's probably 2 or 3 in there. Anna's hummingbird and the Allen's hummingbird as well. I'm going to have to look down. There's a few plumage differences. The ones for the Allen's was showing a kind of reddish orange neck, but my one wasn't. But then when it turns its head, a flash of orange. So that's what it is. But they've been landing. I'll show you. I've got a couple of one particularly good one. Unfortunately, the color in the background, obviously it's white. Would have preferred a bit more color, but it was in shade, and I had to go really high ISO. But that's the best so far. The 4,000th of a second that I normally use for flight shots and small birds isn't cutting it. I can see the wings blurring. I'm going to go 5,000th of a second and see how that happens. I'm guessing I might need to go 1/6400. But yeah, they're casually just sitting here. They're comfortable with me now. I think the Annas are in here and the Allens are just behind it in another flower bush, just near the estuary, at the end of the path to the estuary. So I've got my fill now. I think those are the killdeer going over. I think that's what's making that racket. I just photographed a flock of I nearly said golden. We say grey plover, but they call them the black-bellied plover here. And I'm sure I saw or heard the flock of horned lark. Horned crested. I'm going to do both sets for the Europeans and for the Americans. So I say no confusion, so there's a little less confusion. I just saw a branch moving there. It's probably landed. They seem to like a similar perch. Like there was the Allen's hummingbird that I was filming behind this bush I'm standing in front of. It flew off from the perch it was on, a very small branch, twig, and it flew away and eventually would come back either 10 seconds later or 2 minutes later, the exact same. And when I looked through my camera was focused right on it. Yeah, that's good. So I think we're good here. It's starting to get a little hot. So we're going to go and get some coffee and some bread and get some breakfast, okay?